You stopped talking for a reason, and the reason was every time you talked and every time you shared and every time you made yourself vulnerable, it cost you. And you're tired of paying the toll for talking. This is Barry with FatherSeekers, and this is the podcast, Teach Me to Father. I want to talk to you about, in this podcast, my brother, why you stopped talking. I want to explore that. I want to investigate that, interrogate that a little bit, and then I want to look at some options for you and bring you into the real world, because your voice matters. You matter. What you say, what you have to say matters. What you think matters. And I will plainly tell you that if you have little kids from 0 to 30, you better be talking. It's important. They are wired to desire. Ooh, podcast. They're wired to desire your voice. Number one, why men stop talking. Number one, silence is survival. It's a strategy. It's not a character flaw. Silence is not a character flaw. It's a strategy. Men learned early on that emotional exposure will cause them to be looked at differently. It has to be managed. When I was a kid, little boys don't cry. Tough it up. Eat dirt. Stop crying. And now you've got a bunch of my generations, most of them are a bunch of closed-off knuckleheads who think it's a badge of honor to not talk. Now, there's wisdom in when to share and what to share. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about using your voice for what God gave you to use it for. Vulnerability without resolution feels like it is. It doesn't feel like it is irresponsibility. It's irresponsible. Now, I'm not here to beat you up. I'm here to tell you the truth, because you're looking at a guy who would rather not talk. In a crowd of 10 guys, the guys in my cadre are always saying, why don't you, well, you got anything? No, not really. It's not wise. Have something to say, but say it wisely. Let's keep going. Silence becomes self-protection. If your silence is self-protection, you got to ask yourself, what are you protecting yourself from? Emotions managed instead of expressed will bring death to your heart and mind. Especially, you've got to teach your kids how to express their emotions. You've got to be an example to your wife in how to express her emotions, and to be a sacred and protected place for her. She must know that. She must see you do it. Men internalize this role of silence like it becomes a social shock absorber. Like, if I'm silent, then nobody knows how I feel. I can protect and guard. Number two, here's why we men choose silence over expression. Number two, you carry more than you admit. We carry financial problems and stresses. We carry leadership issues, home, work. In our friendship circles, we fear failing those who depend on us. That's the truth. So if we never express and become vulnerable about putting ourselves on the line by saying something. And again, if you know me, you know I am all about wisdom, speaking wisdom at the right time to the right people, in the right place, in the right way. Here's what research says about carrying more than we admit we carry. 70% of men say financial provision defines their self-worth. Men associate fear and loss. Men associate fear with loss of authority. You and I were made to take dominion over what God has given us to steward, not control and 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 be less than godly to our families. I'm talking about taking dominion over the assignment that He's given us, what He's given us to steward. So when we lose authority, then our success is questioned. Men are less likely to seek help when they are in crisis stage in any situation. Why is that? I think one of the biggest reasons that men, when in crisis stage, freeze and don't share and don't speak and cut everybody off, I think is because of fear and ignorance. Fear of what may or may not take place, probably won't, or ignorance in not knowing what to do and how to process it. Like, there's a real art to processing stress and anxiety in a proper way when we're faced with it in our daily lives as men and husbands and dads. So it's not just man up and rub dirt in it and go for it. It's not that. It's I've got to figure out how to approach this and to deal with this. And dude, listen, if you're just silence all the time, you know what? I'll tell you what happens. You start the repeat button, and when you want to hit the repeat off, you can't stop it. You are rehearsing what may or may not happen, all the mistakes you made, the what ifs, in the world's going to fall apart, and you're going to lose your family, and you're going to live in a van down by the river. Stop. You have to share. You have to talk. You cannot be silent. Now, I understand trusted brotherhood and speaking to in my circle. When we say this stays on the carpet, that means that the place that we are becomes a sacred spot. And what we say in that spot does not leave that spot. But then it becomes actionable responsibility to us and to our brother to see and walk him through it. Now, we're not talking about hiding affairs and gambling debts and all that stuff. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the stresses that men deal with, what they walk through, what they have to handle day to day, what they have to do to be a good man in this world, to provide for their families and take care of their family. That's what we're talking about. Couples with male peer support report higher marital satisfaction. Here's what that means. Couples who have male peer support, meaning that men who are engaged with a brotherhood with godly, solid men who are trying to live right, and couples who come together and share and explore life together and walk together with God through life, tend to have better and higher marital satisfaction, because you're not just stuck. There's not silence there. And you know, the beauty about this really works when you can pair up with an older couple, and they can be wisdom sources for you and your wife, or you and your husband. Men who process externally with brothers bring clarity home. 100%. I can give you names of 20 men right now where that not only worked in their lives, it works today, and it's brought them from where they were to where they are in a magnificent place today. Emotional dumping on your wife increases relational anxiety. It's better to run things by a trusted brother first than to express and to break the silence with your wife. Now, that doesn't mean you're hiding, you're keeping things secret. What that means is that you're seeking wisdom before you're seeking the expression of what needs to be said. Let me say that again. When you talk to a brother about something that must be shared in your house with your wife, when you get the wisdom of trusted brothers, not just one, but 3 or 4, that's trusted in your circle, you tend to have a better grip on a better pathway because these men have probably walked there already, or they're walking through it, or they've just come out of it, and they have wisdom about it. It's always good to do that. Now, number 4, brotherhood is not it's not optional. I know so many guys who have prided themselves in being a lone wolf. It's a lie. There are some seasons that men have to walk alone through. Yes, I do not deny. But that is not a forever season. And there are always, 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 even wolves run in packs. So my point to you is this: if you are trying to bear up all of this manhood, fatherhood, husbandhood weight on your own, then the silence will kill you, and it'll drive in and begin to show up in your physical body. The worst conversation you could ever have with anybody is with yourself and nobody else. It's the worst conversation to have. When you're standing side to side, shoulder to shoulder with other men who have walked where you walk and they're good, trusted brothers, when you are accountable and it's a normalization of the responsibility and the relationship, when you walk with these men, there's something that transitions and happens in your heart and mind. Brotherhood diffuses isolation. Even if you don't talk a lot in this group, in this selected groups, this circle of men that you're in, this cadre, this group of leaders that you've submitted to, even if you don't talk a lot initially, it is certainly worth exploration to look at and seek that out for your own life. Because you can look, if you grew up without a dad, you probably are not seeking a father figure per se right now. Or maybe you are, and you need to be in a circle of men who are wise and who love God and who can give you some godly wisdom. It's just smart. Brotherhood is not optional. Being vulnerable for the sake of responsibility in relationship, learning to be more like Christ and learning how to father your children well and to husband your wife well and to lead in your world requires brotherhood. It requires brotherhood. You cannot do it alone. If you think you can, you, my friend, have chosen to fail. You become your own authority. You become your own voice of reason. You become your own wisdom source. And then you apply things from your own perception instead of the perspective of other people. Let me rephrase and say that again. If you are only listening to your own advice and you're only reading your own press, you, my brother, are about to crash and burn one way or the other. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. You will crash. Men are not made to listen to a singular voice other than God's himself. In this walk, in this life, we are required to walk with brothers. We need that. It's a must. And from those brothers, you get a great deal of wisdom. Men who are silent hurt themselves in the following way. You have shut your voice down and you only speak when you feel safe or comfortable. Your voice matters in the right room. Your kids need to hear your voice. Your wife needs to hear your voice. Your friends need to hear your voice. You need a structure of vulnerability. Look, manhood, you don't just get it. It's bestowed on you by other men. If you're trying to do it yourself, you're gonna blow up. Men must bestow manhood on men. Mentorship environments outperform therapy. Let me say it again. Mentorship environments outperform therapy. Mentorship environments outperform therapy. If you have a counselor and you're walking through that, do not stop. But you can't pay your counselor to mentor you 24/7. You know, here at FatherSeekers, we have coaching opportunities for you. We have mentorship opportunities. There is so much information on our website and on our YouTube channel that there's more than you could listen to if you listen 2 hours a day every day for a month. There's a free course right now on our website. Building a Fatherhood Blueprint. There's a free downloadable book, digital book for you to use to teach your family a culture of repentance and observation. Better said, never say I'm sorry again. It's free. Your voice matters, and you have to begin to use it. Now, here's the caveat. You may have experienced so much abuse in your life, and I've talked to a few guys like this. You may have experienced so much abuse that you prefer to be silent. If that's you, and you would like help with finding a certified, licensed counselor, email me at barry@fatherseekers.org, and I will help you locate one in your area. We have one that we refer people to all the time. But if you've been abused and that's the reason for your silence, contact us or find a friend who can help you find a counselor who can help you learn to use your voice in a good way. Now, here's what happens. Guys who are silent for too long will eventually take all that they can take and someday blow up. And usually it's on people you love. This is Barry with FatherSeekers, and this is the podcast, Teach Me to Father.